These 6 habits are destroying your brain without you realizing it. At some point in our lives, we have probably used the word stupid to describe someone who struggles to learn or makes poor decisions. The term is often used for people with limited understanding or poor judgment. However, from a psychological perspective, it is more accurate to talk about reduced cognitive abilities. Being stupid does not mean being less valuable as a person. It simply means having a reduced ability to process information, learn, or make good decisions. For example, imagine you have money and decide to spend it on fashionable clothes or the latest smartphone, while forgetting to save enough for rent or basic groceries. But why does this happen? Why does it sometimes feel like our mental abilities are getting worse? The truth is that when certain areas of the brain do not function optimally, our reasoning and information processing abilities begin to decline. In many cases, this is not about being unintelligent. It is about how our daily habits and routines slowly limit our mental potential. And honestly, it is not entirely your fault, although part of it may be. Modern lifestyles encourage patterns of behavior that quietly make us less rational, less focused, and more impulsive. Habit number 1, a sedentary lifestyle. First comes the sedentary lifestyle. For those unfamiliar with the term, a sedentary lifestyle refers to a way of living with very little physical activity or exercise. This habit not only harms physical health, but also directly affects brain function. Lack of movement reduces healthy blood circulation, which over time can impair our ability to think clearly and reason effectively. Research also shows that physical inactivity may reduce the size of the hippocampus, the area of the brain responsible for memory. Habit number 2, excessive screen time. We spend far too much time in front of screens. Have you ever wondered why TikTok is so addictive? The videos are extremely short, often only 30 seconds long, and many people watch only the first 10 seconds before scrolling away. This format worsens an already growing problem, our attention span. Excessive use of devices such as smartphones, tablets, and smart TVs significantly weakens our ability to focus. This is no secret. Studies, including research published by JAMA Pediatrics, show that overuse of these technologies can lead to cognitive decline, damage to long-term memory, and reduced concentration. That is why trying to focus on something important for more than 5 minutes can sometimes feel almost impossible. Habit number 3, multitasking. Doing several things at once may seem productive, but in reality, it often has the opposite effect. Multitasking forces the brain to reduce gray matter density in the anterior cingulate cortex, an area closely linked to concentration and decision-making. Does this sound familiar? You are studying or working, but constantly checking your phone notifications because you cannot resist the latest gossip on WhatsApp. That is a classic example of multitasking. The problem is that you overload the brain, making it harder to process information and make good decisions. In the end, you perform tasks poorly and waste more time than you hope to save. Habit number 4, ultra-processed foods. A study conducted by the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics found that regular consumption of ultra-processed foods negatively affects memory and the brain's synaptic plasticity. Foods such as soft drinks, energy drinks, sausages, and processed meats reduce the production of neurotrophic factors, proteins essential for learning and memory. These proteins play a major role in the growth, maintenance, and repair of neurons. When their production is compromised, it becomes more difficult to learn new things and control impulses. Habit number 5, lack of sleep. Sleep deprivation directly affects the hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for consolidating memories. Lack of sleep weakens communication between the brain systems responsible for memory, concentration, and emotional control. Even worse, the next day you often feel like you are on autopilot, unable to think clearly. If you are wondering how much sleep is necessary, it depends on your age. Ages 13 to 18, between 8 and 10 hours per night. Ages 18 and older, between 7 and 8 hours per night. Habit number 6, not reading books. Another extremely important factor is the lack of reading. And no, I am not talking about reading messages or scrolling through gossip on social media. I mean reading actual physical books. Reading printed books is a deep mental activity that requires concentration and stimulates key areas of the brain, including the prefrontal cortex, responsible for reasoning and attention, the hippocampus linked to memory, regions associated with empathy and imagination. On the other hand, reading on phones or tablets often comes with constant distractions. You read a few lines, then check WhatsApp, open TikTok, or get interrupted by notifications. Your brain never fully focuses. Final thoughts. Now that you know how these habits can affect your brain, which ones do you think you need to change first? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And remember, small, daily habits shape the future of your mind. Thanks for watching.